everyone, it's Kate here for a video, and today I'd like to talk about the genre of literature known as chick lit. So in case you do not have an idea of what this kind of literature is, I know the term chick is kind of annoying, but it's the category that's out there, so I'm going to be using it today for this video, and it's not meant as at all offensive, it's just meant as a category for this type of literature. So in case you don't know what it is, it typically is books that are focused mainly on relationships. And in the books, sometimes there are big life events that happen to the people, but you really see how the relationships are changed from that. The focus of the books is not the life events, but the relationships and the primarily women involved in the story. So mostly what you're going to see are friendships of women with other women, really rewarding friendships a lot of the time, and then also romantic relationships with men and husbands in these stories. And I think that the category, the demographic of women that I see reading these are women my grandmother's age, but I have actually remarkably similar interest to my grandmother in reading, and so that is something that doesn't put me off. I know some people kind of like to read what mainly people their age are reading, but it's interesting to me that I would say maybe it's thought of as, you know, that popular with the older generation, and I could be wrong about this. So I do think maybe marketing thinks of chick lit as something read primarily by the older generation, but in my experience, there's actually a fair number of people my age and even younger that reads this kind of book. And I think it's just that people like to know about people. And I'm not saying that men don't at all like to watch stories or read stories that are primarily about relationships, but I think in general they don't necessarily gravitate towards that. So I just know whenever I watch an action movie, at the end of it, I come away thinking, oh, I really wish I could have gotten to know that character better. You know, it left me wanting more. So that's what I really appreciate about chick lit, is that I come away from the book really feeling like I truly got to know the characters and that I really had a knowledge of who they were as people towards the end. And there is something about this genre of literature that's just incredibly relaxing to me, usually because the plot lines, although the relationship elements might be somewhat stressful, you know overall that there is some order to the world that they're in. And so I really enjoy it. So I'd like to talk about the several chick lit authors that I have read and the ones that I would like to read in the future. And also a note I would like to say before this, just because they are put in the category of chick lit and not literary fiction does not mean I am putting down the writing at all, because obviously I'm reading it, so I like it. So the first author I would like to talk about is Maeve Binchy, who I actually put in a this and that book tag video as a book I didn't like, and that was Echoes, and that was simply because of the ending. The ending really caught me off guard, and just I did not like it. But I did like her writing style, and it felt fairly literary, so I would like to read another Maeve Binchy, give it another try. And they all take place in the UK, which I love. So that's something I would like to investigate more of hers. So if you have a Maeve Binchy recommendation for me, please put it down below, because I would like to continue and try out another one of hers, just because I like having some go-to chick lit authors, like I said, because this is a very relaxing category of literature for me. The next author is Rosamunde Pilcher, and I first read a Rosamunde Pilcher book last year. I had gotten a couple at a library book sale, but years ago also I had bought some at a used bookstore when I was with my dad. I saw a bunch of hers on a shelf, and I asked my dad, who's Rosamunde Pilcher? You know, she has so many books up here. And he said, oh, you know, your Nana and your aunt really enjoy her writing, and I have similar reading tastes to them, and so I bought some of those. So the only Rosamunde Pilcher that I have read, though, is The Shell Seekers. And a lot of it takes place in Cornwall, which I absolutely loved, and, you know, beach setting. And some of it takes place during World War II. So historical setting is also something that I like. So I absolutely adore The Shell Seekers, and that was one that I came out of it feeling like I really got to know the characters in that, and I just really enjoyed that so much about it. So I will definitely be wanting to read some more Rosamunde Pilcher, and actually at the end of the month I will be reading with a friend from college that we do a really relaxed, low-key book club. I'll be reading Coming Home by Rosamunde Pilcher, and I just love the covers, you know, the floral print and the blue that is back in style now, but it was like very popular in the 90s. So I think the cover's just great. Anyhow, there is some historical aspects to this, and I'm looking forward to this because I really enjoyed The Shell Seekers, and I plan on reading all of Rosamunde Pilcher actually because I've really enjoyed The Shell Seekers and want to continue reading her other books. So Rosamunde Pilcher is another one that I have read. And then a lady who was on my TBR from March, and this was all the way from February. I checked it out, and it was from the Blind Date with a Book program that the library did, and it was The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton. And I really enjoyed this. I really like Kate Morton's writing style, and this is about a woman who finds out that her parents are not her biological parents, and she goes to discover her past, and then her granddaughter goes to discover her past because she didn't tell any of her family about it. So this was highly enjoyable, and I do think though that maybe was a little bit long, and it was so funny because I was feeling that way. And then I saw on Goodreads that Amanda Center commented that this would have been great without the extra 100 pages at the end, and I agree with that. But overall, I really enjoyed it, and I love the settings, and you know, anything in England I'm going to be more likely to enjoy. So I definitely want to read some more Kate Morton. So then two authors that I have not yet read. The first is Betty Neels, and I heard about Betty Neels over at Emma on A Bookish Princess's channel, and I will link her lovely channel down below. Betty Neels is just a very, very prolific romance writer. I think she wrote something like 60 or 70 books, but she's very well loved by her fans. And I read like in her biography that she was just surprised that people liked her stories so much. So I would like to try her out. Emma enjoyed her, so I think it would be something that would be a lot of fun. And then the final author that I would like to try is Julianne Donaldson, and Julianne Donaldson was recommended to me by a viewer named Serena, who we message back and forth on Goodreads. Sometimes it's just been really nice getting to know different viewers. Anyhow, Serena recommended Julianne Donaldson to me, and I looked her up, and she does Regency kind of historical, I think, romances, but just the Regency setting I would absolutely love because, you know, I love Jane Austen so much. So I hope to give Julianne Donaldson a try, and she seems very well loved on Goodreads, you know, from all the ratings that she has. So if you have any recommendations of people who you think write really good chick lit, then please recommend them because, like I said, I'm looking for more, and this is a very relaxing type of read to me. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and thank you as always for watching. And if you like what you see, please subscribe, and I will see you guys for another video soon.